All right, I wanted to ask Michigan fans this question here, as we're going to dive into about a 5 to 7 minute video here. Guys, we're going to get some work in, I feel, tomorrow. I don't know if Famil and Pete Nakos, I don't know if everybody's going to be working tomorrow and we're going to get a line of commitments. I'm not sure. But flat out to everybody, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's just been, updating this stuff and try to get in a good night of sleep. And then tomorrow, we're going to hit the ground running because the portal opens at midnight tonight. So we're going to have a lot of information. So Devon Dampier, guys, what a game. He caps off a 10-2 season at Utah. Now, put it this way. If Bryce Underwood was not signed into a contract at Michigan, if Bryce Underwood was not at Michigan at all, Devon Dampier would be going to Michigan. This guy is an elite dual-threat quarterback. He can really throw the ball. He's so dynamic running it. Incredibly, incredibly fast. And next year, if I had one game to save humanity, and I had to start a college football game next year, one game to save humanity, I'm taking the experience of Devon Dampier over Bryce Underwood. We saw in the bowl game when Biff Poggi, kind of let it loose, we saw Bryce Underwood force the ball, and he's not there as a passer. Now, I will say this, upside-wise and mid-next year, Bryce Underwood in this Jason Beck offense, if he stays at Michigan, he I think signed a contract, so I know I made a video speculating that he could leave. Now, he'd have to opt out of that contract. But the upside of Underwood is very, very good, but Devon Dampier is already a sensational quarterback. Sensational. And there's a chance that Underwood, we've seen it with the last 5 stars. It's almost like the NFL draft where we had Baker Mayfield, we had Sam Darnold, some of these guys go to these, other locations, Jared Goff, these number 1 overall picks are top 5 guys. They don't succeed at their first stop and then they transfer and go to other spots. Look at it in college football. You have Bo Nix, you have Fernando Mendoza at Cal, who's just okay, and then they absolutely explode Jaden Daniels. So, but most recently, you have DJ Lagway and also Dylan Raiola. So it's possible that Bryce Underwood could always resort and regress into a DJ Lagway, especially with a new system. So he was an unbelievable high school player, and he had a solid freshman year. He didn't even have as good of a freshman year as DJ Lagway. So now in college football, where you can't stay 4 years at one place and where guys are going to transfer almost immediately with NIL and with the portal, there's going to be competition probably at the University of Michigan. And for Devon Dampier, he is rolling now with his OC and his quarterback coach. In Michigan today, they hire Koy Detmer Jr., and they also hire Kyle Whittingham's brother as a tight ends coach. So the whole Utah staff is coming along. And, you know what Kyle could say? He can also say to Devon Dampier, hey, we're probably going to offer you a little bit less than some of these schools that are going to offer you to be a starting quarterback. And you're going to compete with Bryce Underwood. And you might end up winning the job. And then he could even be that quarterback. And then Bryce could honor his contract, could battle Dampier, could probably back up Dampier to start the season. That'll be an ego hit to Bryce Underwood. But then Bryce Underwood can stay at Michigan, and then he could probably play towards the end of next season. And then year 3 of Bryce Underwood, he can be like a redshirt sophomore at Michigan. And you could get a really consistent play because I just think Dampier is flat out better than Bryce Underwood, okay, for the year 2026. Now, 2027, Bryce Underwood could be a Heisman guy wherever he's at. But it's about development. It's about the passing game. And he can honestly get faster as well. I think Arch would beat Bryce in a 40-yard dash. Now, Bryce Underwood's physique, like Bryce Underwood is so hard to bring down, and Arch Manning is very, very thin. But it's interesting with Devon Dampier. With Devon Dampier, it is fascinating right now. What's going to happen with him? Now, Devon Dampier is also local to Scottsdale, Arizona. And I know that Kenny Dillingham, and one of the great offensive coordinators in the country, who Devon Dampier lit up Arizona State. I know Kenny Dillingham knows Devon Dampier, knows his high school coaches, knows everything about Devon Dampier at Arizona State. I believe Arizona State is also going to be involved in this. If he enters into the transfer portal. I think the hometown team is going to enter it, is going to be really, really eager to go after Devon Dampier. And Kenny Dillingham already has feelers out there about what quarterback he wants. And that is going to be really, really intriguing to see where Arizona State goes. So there's so many quarterback dominoes. But for Michigan fans, like, do you want Bryce Underwood to be the starter? Or do you want Dampier to come in and start and have Underwood back up? Or a perfect thing for Michigan fans is competition, and that's what Koy Whittingham is all about. He's all about competition. So I can really see this happening. At Michigan. And a great hire getting Koy Detmer and bringing over that entire offensive staff.